A couple days ago, I reached out to you guys in the community and said, hey, what kind of video would you like me to make? And a lot of you did say, make something about Clan Boss. So we're going to talk about that today.
Shoot him, kid.
Hello, everybody. I'm Roadblock, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Like I said in the intro, we are going to be talking about Clan Boss today, but I'm going to put it real up front right now. This is not going to be a build this team to do Clan Boss. And I need to be very specific about that because the teams that I run are Wixwell teams. If you don't have a Wixwell, you're not going to be able to run that team, plain and simple. There are such things as unkillable teams. We will get into those, but I'm not going to show you a specific unkillable team. I will kind of go through the resources and say, hey, if you have some of these champions, look into building an unkillable team around these specific champions if you want. But the main thing that I want to focus on today is maximizing your ability in Clan Boss. That's what we're going to do. Why don't we go ahead and get the big one out of the way. Let's talk about Wixwell teams. Listen up. I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. So, as I said, I run a Wixwell team. You can see my team right here. There's Wixwell, and I basically have 4 buff extenders, including Wixwell, just extending those buffs and then 1 damage dealer. It's pretty much the easiest way that you can build it. There are a lot of easier versions of it. You can see a lot of people using, I think Valerie is a really good buff extender that you can get early on that will be able to extend those buffs. You don't have to have Titus. Titus just makes the damage insane. But you can see I'm doing half of that just with a really good ninja. So that is going to be your easiest team to really make. There's not a lot of speed tuning. You just need them all kind of close in speed. If you run 4, great. If you run 3, a little bit harder, but doable. I used to run 3 in the past for my buff extenders. 4 is what I run now, just because then you don't have to worry about the debuff or the shield buff falling off. Then you have unkillable teams. Let's see if anybody in my clan is running an unkillable team still. Yeah, so here, this is a Demitha unkillable team. This is a common one you'll see is Demitha and Seeker working together. Seeker is a very unique one where he will basically, because of he gets a lot of turn meter boosting essentially, because he's essentially on a 2-turn cooldown because he gets an extra turn. So yeah, I used to run a similar Demitha, Seeker, Eris. Well, who did I run? I ran the Lizardman, Fushan. I used to run that. That was called Myth Fu. Totally fine, right? I want to point out this awesome team from my clanmate, Saint Niddle. Shout out Saint Niddle. This is just the turtles with a Mikage. 119 million, 1 key. Pretty bare bones, right? And this is the one I really, really, really want you guys to kind of take a look at and understand, because this is not a unkillable team. This is not a Wixwell team. This is not a cheese team. This is just, I put together a badass team and put them to work. So if you manage to get all the turtles, which if you're, struggling on Clan Boss, you probably don't have all the turtles, which is unfortunate. But if you did manage to get them all, here's a really solid Clan Boss team that you could probably put together. Lady Mikage being a free champion. Obviously, you may not have her yet, but, worth noting. So, but that's what I really wanted to focus on. And even this team down here at the bottom, right? As basic as it gets. A big shield, ally attack, defense champion. I'm assuming Harima just hits hard and pairs very well with Mikage. Ninja usually fares better against Clan Boss, I would assume, but I have run Harima over my Ninja in other areas of the game, so that makes a lot of sense. And then Acrizia is enemy max HP. Now, we're going to talk about Acrizia and enemy max HP champions in today's video as well, but I wanted to give you guys the confidence. By the way, you can't see, that's a 95.51 million damage, 1 key. Very, very simple. And it just kind of goes to show, don't get me wrong, you have a void legendary, you have a mythical, or sorry, 2 void legendaries, one of them is free, a really good top tier support in Padrig, and a really top tier damage dealer in Harima. So these are like good champions. I understand, I'm not trying to say that you who might be running with epics and rares can compete with a team like this. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is that this concept still exists, that only a cheese team can find success in Demon Lord. And I really want it to hit home that you don't necessarily need to go that route these days. So we'll talk a little bit now about power creep and kind of what you're looking for to bring those types of teams. Like, I want to get away from Unkillable and Wixwell teams a little bit, because there's a lot of content on them out there. I've made content on a Wixwell team a couple of times, in fact, and Unkillable teams, there's a lot of resources out there. Don't know if Deadwood Jedi's Clan Boss calculator and guide to Unkillable teams is still up. I haven't needed to use it in a long time, but if it is, I highly recommend you guys use it. I'm sure somebody will be generous enough to me to put it in the comments, because I don't have time to look it up at the moment. But I really wanted to talk about maximizing the value of your champions. We're going to start very, very simple in Classic Arena. You're like, whoa. We're talking about Clan Boss. Why are we talking about Classic Arena, Roadblock? And that is because of the bonuses. This is something I find all the time. People that have really strong accounts, and they come to me and they say, I'm struggling on Clan Boss. Can you come build me an Unkillable team? They're like, I have XYZ champion. And I get on their account and I look and I'm like, well, you do have the champions. Yeah, you're right. But you're also gold 2. Like, why are you gold 2? And it's like, oh, I don't really like Arena or whatever. Well, if you're gold 2, you're sacrificing a large amount of damage and HP and defense, which, by the way, defense is going to be your best way to mitigate damage from the Clan Boss. That's the best way for an individual champion. Let me say that, right? Because ally protection and strengthen are other buffs that you're going to want to bring, right? Obviously block damage, but if you can increase, say you have an attack champion and you're building them and every item has attack but also a little bit of defense, that's going to be good for you. Like, defense and speed are going to make you very tanky in the Clan Boss, is kind of what I'm saying. Is it going to make you invincible? No. And you're still going to have faults of low base defense and low health, but it will help, is what I'm trying to point out here. But I digress. Back to what I'm trying to talk about. I see it all the time where people are leaving so many points on the ground by not paying attention to their arena placement. And that's very important. So step 1, you're struggling in Clan Boss. Before you do anything, go knock out Arena up to gold 5. It's a grind, but it's very, very doable these days. I did it on the free-to-play. You guys remember, I came back on the free-to-play. You get free keys when you come back that instantly take you to gold 5, or at least it took me to gold 5. And then I stopped playing again and went all the way back down, and then started playing again. And so I had to manually level up because those keys were no longer available from the revival path. So, because I'd already used them. So I grinded my way back up to gold 5, and it really didn't take that long. And it's good for your account as well, because the other thing to make sure you're doing is prioritizing your Great Hall in the right areas. Now, because I was able to build an Unkillable team so early, defense, HP, those stats didn't matter to me. But you will notice defense in this one is really, really high, right? Force affinity. Well, that's because one of my first champions on this account that was a legendary was Ultimate Death Knight, who is a force affinity defense-based champion, and was the key to my Unkillable team like 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. I don't know how long it's been, but I used to run a killable team with Ultimate Death Knight as one of my cornerstones behind that team. Now, this was not the gear that he was in at that time. I got away a lot with a bolster set, but what made Ultimate Death Knight so good? Well, he brought a defensive aura. A speed aura is preferred if you can get it. I didn't have one. I went with a defense aura. Why? Because it made my team tankier. And I ran a really high amount of defense for this shield right here that is proportional to this champion's defense. So the whole goal for me was to build a giant shield with my ultimate Death Knight to keep my team alive. Very similar to a team that we just saw in modern day Raid. This was obviously a long time ago, but even in my own clan, they're running Mithrala, who runs a shield in a very similar capacity to keep that team alive. There's really no healing in this team. I don't even think Padrig has healing. I know that Padrig restores destroyed HP, but I don't think he has a lot of healing in. Oh, he does have a continuous heal in his. Okay. So for recommendation number 2, it's going to be a big shield. Now, are you going to have all of the champions that you need to run every single recommendation that I give to you today? No, you are not. Okay. But these are recommendations and goals for you to target and mindset to keep available for when the time eventually comes. So a big shield was my secret. So one of the teams I ran way back when was a UDK, who I already mentioned, a Pythion. I swore I just saw him out of the corner of my eye. There he is. A Pythion. So I had UDK, Pythion, Longbeard, who is not even, oh yeah, he still is. Yeah, Longbeard. This is probably the gear he was in. I haven't touched him, and so yeah, look at that, 5-star boots. Yeah, it is old gear, but Longbeard, and we'll get to why Longbeard was effective. Mishinaki, who was a legendary that I had recently pulled. Again, a defense-based legendary, right? And I want to say for a while I was using Rector Drath, but then I think I eventually upgraded Rector Drath to Valkyrie, who again was bringing a big shield, but that the shields were overriding each other. That wasn't as effective as I probably had hoped it would be. But again, this was early raid days for me. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is ally attack and mass counterattack. A lot of, if you're running a killable team, your goal is not to like necessarily survive 50 turns, right? Like a killable team is. Your job is to do as much damage in the limited amount of time that you have available to yourself. It's one of the reasons why I brought Mishinaki as my damage dealer, because Mishinaki brought an HP burn, which did a lot, but he also had this counterattack mechanic with Hex, and he places his own Hex. He also brought decreased defense and attack. We'll get to those debuffs in a little bit, but he kept going and attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking multiple times, and he did a ton of damage because of that. So we had regular counterattacks, we had ally attacks, and then we had his built-in mechanic where he would attack outside of that with his A1 and constantly keep this HP burn up, but also, build him 100% crit rate with some crit damage, and he was just hitting hard. So that was an old school team that I ran that did do a 1-key some of the time on Ultra Nightmare, right? It wasn't always consistent because affinities were a thing. It was right on that edge of being perfect. And eventually I got tired of some days it worked, some days it didn't. And I went ahead and swapped over to a unkillable team, a Demitha team, and now Wixwell, like I said. So I was looking, and this was utilizing the roster that I had available to me. It's not like I didn't have Ninja at the time, right? I didn't have the crazy PvE damage dealers that a lot of us have access to. I didn't have champions like Mithrala, right? Empress, I just didn't have a lot available to me at the time. So this was something that I just used the roster that was given to me, okay? Now, I already mentioned them, but we're going to go over them really briefly. Ally protection, strengthen is a good one. Listen, it's unlikely if you're still struggling with Clan Boss that you've been able to find success in your faction wars, but if you have managed to complete faction wars, I have looked over the wrong champion. Lydia the Death Siren is going to be a massive asset for you. Not only does she bring poison sensitivity, and you might bring a poisoner as damage dealer, she also brings decreased defense and weaken, 2 major debuffs to increase your damage to the boss. If you can get both, great. If you can get one, okay, but getting both is optimal. Lydia can do that for you while also bringing strength into your team and an increased speed. Why increase speed? That allows you take even more turns because you're going to go faster. So with a killable team, she brings a lot of value to the team. Damage reduction of any kind is going to be your friend. Well, that was mentioning strengthen, but ally protection is going to be another one. One of the, there's a lot of great ally protectors out there, but there are definitely some good ones in the epics. One of my favorites is apparently Troggy the Frog. Really, really good ally protector because he heals himself and puts a shield on himself as well. So that's a great option for you. If you can bring an ally protector, you'll likely need to extend that ally protection buff. Ally protectors, like this one, put an ally protection for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So if you want it to be up all of the time, you can extend it. Or you can speed tune a team and make this Taragi fast enough that it's always up. But I find it easier just to bring some buff extension or cooldown reduction for that matter, right? So big recommendation there. We didn't talk about it too much. Decrease attack. Decrease attack is super, super important. You remember me talking about if I brought Pythion, why was I bringing Rector Drath? And I think I brought Rector Drath, and maybe I took her out of the team when I brought Mishinaki. But decrease attack is huge. And then any sort of damage reduction. So Veil and Perfect Veil do have built-in damage reduction. So if you come in here and go to Veil and Perfect Veil, so Veil reduces incoming damage by 7.5 and Perfect Veil reduces incoming damage by 15%. Anything you can do to reduce that damage that's coming at your team, you're going to want to do. But you're also going to want to maximize your ability to do damage. And that's where those debuffs come in, like your decrease defense and weaken abilities. Decrease attack being one of those ones that reduces the damage coming. Now let's talk damage dealer. This is the part that's going to be a challenge. To build a really good damage dealer these days in Raid, you're going to need good gear. And it can be difficult to get good gear if you're not getting that steady resources coming in from Clan Boss. My recommendation is to focus your gear onto somebody really, really good. But I want to point something out that I see all of the time, and it's not a pet peeve, it's not wrong per se. Enemy max HP has its place in this game, but it also has major drawbacks due to the limitations placed on enemy max HP damage. There's a cap on that damage. Can't exceed a certain amount relative to the boss. So I bring enemy max HP against Chimera because my regular damage dealers can't do more than enemy max HP on Chimera. However, for Clan Boss, my enemy max HP champions can't hold a candle to my Ninja or probably my Harima on this account because she's a 6-star blessing champion and she's built really good. One exception to that rule is probably Marius. Again, you don't have Marius if you're struggling on Clan Boss, so it's kind of a moot point. I know people are going to be screaming at me. Marius does enemy max HP damage, but also hits really, really hard. So you can kind of get away with it with him. But a champion like Coldheart, not going to be your best damage dealer in Clan Boss. Will she be more advantageous than kind of in, like on a really early game account? Is she going to hit hard on the Clan Boss? Yeah, absolutely she will. And she's easier to build, but she would likely get outscaled by a really, really well-built damage dealer that has just a fitting, what's the word that I'm looking for here? A fitting kit for Clan Boss. So somebody that is going to hit very, very hard, perhaps have frequency of hits. A great name that I want to throw out there is going to be Tholan. Tholan does, he activates his A1 every 5 hits, or 5th turn rather. not hits, I apologize, but that hits hard. It brings weakens, something that you need. This ignores a ton of defense, which is going to hit really, really hard. He self buffs, so you wouldn't necessarily need to worry about bringing an increase attack champion. You can focus on bringing other more essential buffs because he can apply his own to himself. But the thing that I love about Tholen is that you can get him with a promo code. So if you're starting a new account, you use Tholen's code and there you go. Now, some people still say Sun Wukong is the go-to. I don't disagree with that. Sun Wukong is a great option. And I would actually go so far as to say Sun Wukong is a great option in Clan Boss. Right? People sleep on him in Clan Boss, but the block buff's not that big of a deal, but it does help once Affinity has transformed over from Void. But he can hit really, really hard, and this passive actually turns out really, really handy because I was talking earlier about making sure to put a little bit of defense on your nukers, right? To try and give them a little more longevity. You don't need to do that. Let him die. Let Sun Wukong die. It's 3 turns. Well, you've got 5 people on your team. So he dies, 3 people go. He's back alive with 100% turn meter, and he is going to go again. So you're just going to get a bunch of free hits out of him, and he hits really, really hard. This in particular can hit like a freaking truck because it ignores 50% of the target's defense, and the Clan Boss has a lot of defense, so that will really help you out. So yeah, if you're using either one of these early game promo codes for Sun Wukong or Tholen, they should be in your Clan Boss team, right? So highly, highly recommend them. I would tip the scales a little bit to Tholen, and we're talking Clan Boss only here. And I say that because Tholen brings weaken, which means that all you really need to do is bring a decreased defense champion. And I mean, that could be even a rare in a rare that I ran for a very, very long time, which is War Maiden. And you can run her at 50 just so. Yeah, that would be a big recommendation for me if you're picking those promo codes. But the other last thing I want to leave you guys with, because a lot of you are listening to me talk and you're saying, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, I don't, like, what is he talking about? I have been playing this game for so long. I've been building these teams. That team I built, the Ultimate Death Knight team, was years ago. Think of all the stat bloat we have now. Right? We have relics. We have souls, right? We have sets of gear that bring speed while also bringing damage and free crit rate and crit damage and so many different assets that are available to us in this game to really maximize the damage and survivability of our team. Demon Lord has been a challenge for a long, long time. And I understand that somebody that is in a position of frustration right now over Demon Lord is going to say, you don't know what you're talking about because I've been trying to do it. As someone that's done takeovers and built teams for other people, as someone who built a team himself, and I did want to make a video about a free-to-play team using this roster, but unfortunately, or even my free-to-play account, but unfortunately, it's never going to be realistic enough because I have points in my Great Hall. I have good gear. I have resources that have been developed over a 2-year account and constant farming of Clan Boss that just won't relate to the status of your account. The most important thing that I can tell you is don't give up. Keep trying. Play with your champions. Play with your build. Look up why this champion isn't doing damage that you wish that they could be doing, right? Think on this advice. Do I have decreased attack? Do I have damage reduction in the form of many different forms, whether it's a passive, decrease, or ally protection, strengthen, increased defense? Am I buffing my damage dealer? Am I giving my damage dealer enough? Am I bringing decreased defense and weaken? Am I bringing increased speed? Do I have enough healing to kind of last a few extra turns after the Clan Boss starts doing a ton of damage? Am I bringing a big shield, right? Like, it can be frustrating trying to put the puzzle pieces together to come up with that perfect team for Clan Boss. But what I'm mostly here to tell you is that you can do it. I believe in you. You may not be an expert at this game. You may feel like you're not very good at it, but I believe you can do Clan Boss. And it's just going to take a little bit of effort, a little bit of work, some good gear, like reasonable gear, and optimizing that and then make it a priority, right? It can be very distracting. Well, I want to do good in Fire Knight. I want to do good in Ice Golem. I want to do good in Sand Devil. It could get distracting. Your first priority needs to be Clan Boss, and you need to constantly work on that team until you ultimately have a 1-key Ultra Nightmare. But it's okay if you have a 2-key Ultra Nightmare, a 3-key, or even a 4-key Ultra Nightmare. That is a great place to start, and then keep tweaking that team and keep working with it. Oh, look, I just pulled this new really good champion. Let me throw them in there. So I have to wrap this up. This video went way longer than I thought. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all next time. Take care.